Alright YouTube, my name is KarQ. I think this video will kind of be a bit more kind of like raw and authentic, where I kind of just yap for a minute about Stadium and how I feel about it, the direction it's going, and what I'm looking forward to. Kind of like a season in review for Stadium specifically. The season is probably going to end June 24th, I believe. That's a Tuesday, right? 21 days, I think. Yeah, 21 more days of the Battle Pass. I've definitely played a lot of Stadium. I played each role, mostly support. I was mostly battling the queue times more than anything, so I haven't really been grinding too much support, but like 57 games won on support, which probably means I've queued like 100 games, probably 50 games on damage and 50 games on tank, somewhere around there. I mostly have a positive win rate on most of the heroes. Looking pretty good on most heroes, minus the ones that like Ryan and Juno, but I didn't actually play them that much. But like everything else, I've been kind of farming on the mode, and I have some thoughts. I think I'll organize this on how I feel about Stadium, the direction of the game, the future of the game mode. We're gonna talk about the outside perception of Overwatch as a whole and Stadium. We're gonna talk about what I think for the next season's Stadium hero releases and what I feel the game needs in terms of feedback, updates, problems, issues, all that fun stuff. So I just want to say, obviously, I've been playing and enjoying Stadium a lot. I mean, I played a lot of games. I'm enjoying it personally because it's probably the biggest change Overwatch has seen in a long time, and I need like a big shift and a big change for me to play this game. Like, it's been 9 years of Overwatch. This game came out May of 2016, and I've been playing it since release. The only times I've been truly addicted, like obviously I just play the game for a couple of hours because it's my job to be a content creator and streamer, but like where I can genuinely say I'm like addicted and I would play it even off stream was A, the release of Overwatch in 2016, B, probably the launch of Overwatch 2, the first season or two. I was playing a shit ton, October 2022, and then probably season 9. When was season 9? February 2024, right? Last year, when they made all the heroes' HPs go up from like 200 to 250, some of them at 300, the projectile sizes were bigger. They addressed the burst healing, all that fun stuff. That was like new and exciting for me, and I need that fun, fresh excitement. And Stadium coming out is kind of what I needed. I needed something big, something a little different, and that's what, you know, it got me hooked. Now, that being said, Stadium obviously isn't perfect. There's a lot of things that they need to iron out. I'll get to that at the end. But for now, again, I was really enjoying the game mode. I love the idea of building and crafting a character. I play so much Deadlock, and I really want to commend the Balance team for the non-stop updates. I've never actually uploaded so many patch videos on my main channel in quick succession. Like, they are rapidly buffing, nerfing items and powers across the board. They're paying attention. They literally removed the Freya power for the weekend, for the long weekend last weekend, because people were complaining about the Bola build being too oppressive. So they're like, we can't implement a change right now over the weekend as well, because they probably didn't have people in the office. So they're like, we'll just remove it so people don't have a miserable experience over the weekend. Like, that's crazy, the amount of this new chapter in their communication and in their the way they kind of update and keep in touch with the community now. So the mode of the future is bright, and if they continue adding new heroes every season and mid-season, I think we're in good hands. Let me look at the patch notes really quick, right? Stadium, boom. Stadium this week, last week, May 20th, May 22nd, May 23rd, like nonstop. When I mentioned the new heroes coming every season and mid-season, I think the next heroes have been released and revealed in the roadmap already. So for those who don't know, season 17, which again begins on June 24th, they will be releasing Sigma, Junkrat, and Zenyatta. I'm not sure if that's the right order, but they put in the roadmap Sigma, Junkrat, Zenyatta, tank, DPS, support. I would assume it goes in that order. So June 24th, hopefully we expect Sigma, and then 3 weeks later, Junkrat, and then 3 weeks after that, Zenyatta, because seasons are 9 weeks in Overwatch, and if it's confirmed 3 heroes per season, I assume it's every 3 weeks. And then season 18, so the season after that, will be Winston, Sojourn, and Brig, apparently. They're kind of doing something they've never done before with this kind of level of this release cycle. And I'm excited for Zen personally, because I'm pretty sure he'll be flying. He'll be levitating. Like, come on. There's no way they don't add that as a power or an item. So that's going to be exciting. Let's talk about the outside perception of Overwatch and the game itself. I think things have definitely swung into Overwatch's favor in recent times, especially this past month. Like, with everyone pitting Marvel Rivals versus Overwatch non-stop since the release of Rivals, it's no secret that, you know, they're always in the limelight and they're always constantly being compared. But recently, Rivals patch notes and balance changes have not been in the good graces of their community at all. And also, it's hard to believe that Rivals came out, what, last December? So like, it's already been 6 months. Like, can you guys believe it's been half a year? And then back then, the sentiment was like, oh, Overwatch is dead, and like the game is dead. Rivals is so much better. And now the reverse is happening. Not necessarily, like, both games are not dying. Overwatch is never dead, by the way, in December. And right now, Rivals isn't dead at all. It's just the people who hyperbolize everything and on socials. If you're off social media, both games are perfectly fine. Let's just get that out of the way. Where was I going with this? The Rivals community, not too happy about recent balance changes, flyer meta, they can't deal with dive meta, triple support strike. Like, it's just, I play both games and I'm kind of like outside looking in like, holy crap, like this is interesting social experiment in a sense that, like, you know, a lot of the problems Overwatch had at the beginning, you know, the Rivals community is going through it. And I do think Rivals will be able to solve their issues. Overwatch, the sentiment, I want to talk about the game perception of this game. It swung back into their favor. They've been doing well with, you know, executing new systems. Obviously, this new mode, third-person mode, like Stadium's been fun. And then in the main game, hero bans have been added to the game. Like, Overwatch is committed to not being the casual game in their main game. Like, they were kind of like teeter-tottering between the two for so damn long that they're just like, you know what? They were afraid of the hero bans for so long because they didn't want to upset the casual community who want to just log in and play their favorite hero. And like, oh, we don't, if their hero gets banned, they're going to be upset and they don't want to play. But they're just like, you know what? You can't please everybody, so let's just really step into the direction in one direction instead of being in the middle and a fence sitter. Let's just go with like making Overwatch a good competitive game, adding hero bans, because hero bans are kind of like a self-regulating way for the player base to kind of optimize their play experience. And yes, some people will be shafted. Sombra players are probably not that happy, or sometimes Mercy players because they can't play their favorite hero in ranked. But if it makes the game better for the majority of the other players, like that's the direction they want it to go. I commend them for that, and I think that's a good thing. Now, what's interesting with Rivals not doing so hot is that some people are actually coming to try Overwatch because they've been pitted up against each other. The competition was so healthy that because Rivals is on the down, like not doing as hot, people are like, you know what, I'll check out Overwatch, I guess. And then they're pleasantly surprised that the game isn't as bad as the community makes it out to be. And a lot of them are coming into my chat and going like, you know, I'm trying Overwatch because I heard they had the third person mode and blah, 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 blah. And like, yeah, it's not bad. I'm enjoying it and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you know what, that's good. And then if you ever get bored of this, go back to Rivals. You know, you can play both games, have both cakes and eat it too. Before I said that, I mentioned something just like 2 sentences ago about like Overwatch leaning into being more competitive. I just want to point out, and I don't think anybody can argue this, that like Overwatch is definitely a better competitive game with a higher skill expression than Marvel Rivals right now. Marvel Rivals is a stat padding game, which is fun in its own right. I call that one the casual competitive game. There are competitive aspects, but the skill expression in that game, despite it having so many more abilities and buttons, just seems a little too wacky and chaotic. And this was something that was said early on too, but like now that people are gotten used to like what all the heroes do and how the gameplay is supposed to flow, it's definitely very stuffy on the scoreboard, right? You're stuffing the stat sheet, like getting 100k healing or like 60,000-70,000 damage isn't even like that outrageous. Like it's an obviously outrageous game to hit that kind of number, and you probably screenshot it and send it to your friends, but it happens way more. I don't even think there's ever been an Overwatch game where someone had 100k healing, even in a 6v6 environment. Maybe I'm wrong, but I do think Overwatch is better competitively. Obviously they've had 8 or 9 years to kind of fine tune their balance in the way that they want it to be. I'm losing my train of thought. Let's just move on from that. I just want to make sure I got that sentence out. Now, let's see. Now let's get to the final part about Stadium Hero. How do I feel about the current powers and the hero items? So, and what I think needs to be adjusted, fixed, and et cetera, et cetera. So number 1, queue times. I know, I'm sure you guys all know, and it's probably worse depending on the region you play on, but I'm playing on a very popular server. I play on North America. I'm from Canada, Toronto, so I'll play on the North American East servers, which should be pretty populated. I don't play at the greatest times. I play around like 10, 11, 12 midnight my time, but like my support queues are like anywhere between 15 minutes to upwards of like 30 to 40 minutes. So I had to stop playing it. And this is before I even hit All-Star rank, which is like just the rank where most people stop because that's where they get the Juno skin. But like even in pro or elite rank, which is like the plat or diamond equivalent on my way up, it was already getting a little ridiculous. And I'm sure all the other support players are also feeling the same. There's an incredibly large ratio of support players wanting to play Stadium and try out that mode. And the queue times are an issue, and I'm pretty sure they're looking into it. But like the thing with queue times is like to fix or to like make queue times faster, you need to ensure the ratio of players in the other roles is more appealing. So we just need more people queuing into tank or DPS to kind of fill all the support players queuing up. Or B, you loosen the matchmaking restrictions just to find more people who are queuing in, and it won't be the most balanced match at the sake of queue times. But here's the problem. Both things are kind of an issue right now. You have long queues and you have very wide matchmaking queues already, which makes for pretty imbalanced games. So if you widen your parameters to kind of like cut down the queue times, just to find them. It's like, oh, I can't find anybody in your all-star rank. Fill out this lobby. Let's start searching for pro or elite or even contenders players. Maybe that will work. But like, I don't know how they're going to tackle this, to be honest with you. I think maybe you just kind of have to let time play out, because, and let time pass, because as time goes on and people start playing the mode here and there, they'll start naturally gravitating towards their true rank, because this system was started off with like the Apex or like the rival system where everybody starts at the one base rank. There's no placement matches and they kind of just throw you in there. So you're going to get some very, very wide and varied games early on. And that's going to make it very tough to have fun, balanced games. I didn't experience like rough stomp. Like I experienced some stomps, but it's mostly like my team stomping. Because let's face it, I play the game a lot. I'm pretty high rank, been high rank at some point. And like this is mostly a problem for like a casual, truly like a gold, silver player trying to enjoy Stadium. And then they just get thrown into like a match against like, you know, Masters, GM and top 500 players. Like it's a problem for the greater community. And I see that. And like I kind of feel bad sometimes where like I was stacking with my streamer friends and we're playing against like legitimate gold plat stack and they're just like, yo, how are we playing against you guys? Like this is so ass, and they're not having a good time. And like even for us, like it gets to a point where it's like this isn't like competitively fun. It's like LeBron. I'm not saying I'm LeBron, but I'm making the big example. It's like LeBron showing up to like an 8th grader like basketball game and just dunking on everybody. Like where's the fun in that? You know what I mean? So anyways, queue times, wide matchmaking's rough. The third person mode, I know I was mentioning people are coming in for the third person, but third person in this game needs a lot of work. Like there's something off about the aim there. It doesn't feel as smooth when you turn the camera left or right. I think there was a video from like an aim labs or like a Kovacs aim physicist who said something about like the pivot point of like your axis and the way your camera and your eyes are looking at it makes it so the left turn, you have to turn, if you turn the same mouse movement to the left and right, it's uneven because of the angle of it. And there's a couple of solutions, and the only one solution is to put like the hitbox directly vertically above them and make your character not really third person but slightly tucked underneath it, kind of like how I think Paladins does it or something like that. That seemed like a pretty solid solution. But yeah, in any case, the third person feels clunky and I actually have to turn it off. I play first person Stadium. Third person has so many benefits with so much extra information that you can get from the game, but I just feel so weird and dizzy using it right now and disorienting that I had to turn it off in this specific game. I think it needs more work, and I can play third person games. I mean, I play a lot of Rivals and stuff too and other games, but like this one I just couldn't do it. So I think they just need to take a look at that still. It could definitely be more optimized. I think they can also add more items to help counter or deal with certain liabilities, and you need to make these items global. Like for example, I know Diva has an item where it's like, oh, you can like reduce the beam damage, or you have Junker Queen where it's like if you get knocked back, you gain movement speed. Why can't we have these as global items? What if I don't want to be knocked back as Ana? What if I don't want to be beamed down by a Moira? Like it can be at a reduced effectiveness, but like I'm not sure they had to put these items specifically for heroes that have problems with it. Diva dealing with beams and lasers, Junker Queen getting booped back, like those are in the game, but like why not give it to anybody and give everybody a defensive option? Like I play a lot of Deadlock and everybody can buy like, you know, the parry counter spell thingy. They can buy like knockdown, they can buy rescue beam, they can buy what do you call it, bullet skin, metal skin, reduce all the bullet damage from certain matchups, or the knockdown item to stop flyers. Like everybody can buy it, so that means everybody can sort of contribute to like problematic players, and I think there's no reason to kind of gatekeep it to those specific heroes. So I would like that. And I would also like item system to kind of be components that can be turned into a bigger item. It's kind of like an item tree. It kind of feels bad to waste a slot in the late game with, for example, like that Junker Queen item where it's like, you know, the anti-knockback item that gives her move speed. It's a blue item worth 4,000. But like, let's just say it's late game and I have so much extra cash. Like it feels bad to like use that slot for a blue item when I could buy a purple item instead. But I need that effect specifically for that blue item. So I'm hoping maybe they can make it a component where like if I buy this one specific like anti-beam, anti-knockback, or this like offensive knockdown item, it can turn into 3 possible purple items that still holds that base trait, but it can turn into the purple item you want with like a reduced effectiveness or something, just to make use of that cash a little bit. Do you guys kind of know where I'm trying to get at? Again, I go back to the Deadlock comparison, or maybe like League of Legends, you can buy like starter items that like turn into something pretty solid later on, you know? There's 2 possible paths for like armor penetration in League of Legends and things like that. So a pathway tree. I don't know if this adds too much varying complexity in a game like this, but like now that we've tried it out, I do feel like the game could benefit from more optimization, more answers to certain things. Like Junker Queen playing, like queuing up into like a Zarya with 2 bubbles and like Kiriko with 2 Suzus is like, oh my god, dude, like what am I supposed to do here? There's just certain matchups that are so ass because you can't counter swap, so we need items, more global items, and more choices to help deal with these. With that being said, I think adding an extra bonus 7th item slot wouldn't be a bad idea if certain condition is met, maybe a certain objective or a certain quest. Not sure what that could possibly be. Having an extra slot is not only just like, you know, a 6, like it's not only for the richest player in the lobby that can use that. Everybody can use an extra item slot. Like, let's say you have like 40,000. That's not even that rich. You can buy like 3 purples and then like 3 blues and an extra green in that empty slot, or like 4 blues, or like, you know, you can slot in that specific item that's like, you know, an anti-beam or a knockdown in that 7th slot, and then you can still have your core 6 item build, right? I think an extra slot could be kind of okay. Just an idea. That one's not a high priority, but it's just an idea I'm throwing out there. Consumable items is also another thing that they've been talking about, but which I think is pretty good. Like, if I do have extra like 500 cash left over, I can just buy like, you know, a buff that lasts like 30 seconds or 1 minute into this round only that does a certain thing. May not be like super overpowering sets, but could be useful if I want to take this engagement now because this buff only lasts 60 seconds when the round starts, or it only kicks in after like 2 deaths or something. Different items like that. What else could they add in Stadium? Build sharing. They mentioned they're going to do a build sharer, but if I'm not mistaken, this is probably going to be similar to their workshop or their custom mode where you just share a code with somebody and they have to import it. But like, we still need a place to like aggregate and browse the build. So in Deadlock, you can browse someone's build, uploaded it into the browser in the game client, and you can click it and then import it in right away. I don't think that's going to exist. I think it's going to be like you make a build, then you have to share a code like the workshop. So you're going to need external websites like workshop.codes right now, which is a great site to like look at all the workshop codes. We're going to need that for Stadium. Some Stadium sites are already built out. There's stadiumbuilds.io, and then there's owarmory.com. There's probably some more out there, but those are 2 off the top of my head. But I feel like this build sharing thing isn't even like going to be, it's a nice system, but I don't think it needs more if it's just a code thing. But it's a good start. Somebody can come to my stream and be like, KarQ, what's your KarQ build? And I already have a pre-made code for you to import. But I kind of wish they could just search up KarQ in the client under like this drop down list, and then I just have all my builds there in the client baked in. Don't have to go to an external website. But beggars can't be choosers. This isn't Steam. And then finally, I think Stadium could benefit from a quick play version to actually meme around. I know we were mentioning the queue times and stuff earlier, but the queue times and stuff is mostly a product of the ratio of players, and I feel like if the ratio of people are still queuing support, quick play, having a quick play mode doesn't make anything worse in that sense. It's just like the ratio of support players is too high. There's just not enough people queuing the other modes. But the quick play one might actually go a little bit better, a little bit faster if people are more willing to queue the tank and the DPS role, if they're allowed to just meme around and try a meme build. Genuinely try some of these more fun builds, because right now it feels kind of bad. Like for me, if I'm like, you know, in All-Star 4 trying to get Legend and I spend 40 minutes in a queue, the last thing I want to do is just like make a stupid support build right now, because like I spent 30 minutes in queue. I want to try to win this damn lobby right now in this damn game, but I can't do the stupid like you know, full ability power Kiriko, because weapon power is much better on her, by the way, because that means her kunais and her Ofuda heal more. But like 100% AP healing Kiriko just to see what it's like. But I can't mess around with that right now. Not right now. So the quick play one, it would benefit me, and I'm sure a lot of other people for some fun modes. And I think I'll just wrap it up there. But yeah, that's my thoughts on Stadium. Let me know what you guys think, and let me know if you guys are still playing, or if you will continue to play if they update and fix the things. Maybe there's some more problems that I didn't mention, but yeah, mention yours in the comments. Yeah, bye.